Hi, what's up? I'm Ethan, aka The Twiz.
And I'm Ashley.
And this is He Said, She Said, where we watch movies and review them. Today we watched Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, which is a sequel to The Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
So what'd you think?
I loved it.
It was so good.
It's literally like almost a near perfect movie.
Seriously.
The Planet of the Apes franchise is probably my favorite, top 3 favorite film franchises ever. Like Star Wars would be up there, and maybe Fast and the Furious for me.
Definitely.
This is a prequel series, and the first one, The Rise of the Planet of the Apes, I absolutely loved. And this one, I honestly think is as good, if not better, than the first one.
I think I might have even liked it better than the first one, and I loved the first
It's
movie.
definitely more action-packed, and I think that people who want an action movie are going to love it, and people who want a good storyline are going to love it, because it has the best of both.
It also did a really, really great job of creating really great relationships between the main character, Caesar, and the human main character. And given that they hadn't known each other for very long, and this was supposed to take place over just like maybe a week or so, they got really close really fast, and it didn't feel unrealistic. Like you could feel that they meant a lot to each other.
Definitely.
And that was really important.
Yeah, it was very mutual.
Yeah, it was. The movie was just so enjoyable. It was happy, it was funny, it was lighthearted, but it was also just heart-wrenching at times. It was intriguing.
It wasn't 100% like action-packed the whole time either. But the times that weren't action-packed, it was still a lot of tension, and you wanted to know what happened next, and you wanted to know how the film would continue. The only slow part was maybe the first 10 to 15 minutes when they were setting it up. But either way, that was still kind of interesting. You were kind of like figuring out what was going on. But that's pretty much the only part of the movie that wasn't at all like on the edge of your seat. But that's about it.
One of the great things I think about this movie is how it makes you feel so attached to the apes. I mean, as humans, obviously, we're going to relate to the humans and to their issues and their problems. But they did a really good job of making you see where both groups are coming from, and you realize why the apes are fighting for their lives and why the humans are fighting for their lives. And they did a really good job of not making it biased. It kind of, it made you feel something for both sides.
Exactly, yeah.
You didn't want there to be a winner.
It told the story because everyone obviously knows what happens. The apes end up ruling the whole planet. But at the same time, they do a really good job of bringing both parties together, and they tell a story. Yeah, like you said, they don't really favor one party over the other. They don't make the humans look like bad guys. They make the bad humans look like bad guys, but then they also make the bad apes look like bad apes. So
because it is a prequel series, you know how it's going to end, and that can be difficult sometimes because you're like, oh, well, we all know how it's going to end. Yeah. But they do a really great job of making you question, like, wait, how do we get to that point?
Yeah, because it's still kind of, you can still see it. It's still a ways away.
Yeah,
like,
you
it's
can
not
definitely
close
tell that you're still, at least decades away from it, and things happen, and you're like, this can't happen. You know, there's apes are supposed to rule, but then at the same time, you're like, but we don't want the apes to rule. We want them to just all be friends and live coherently. But that's not the case, and I think they do a really good job of creating a scenario where the apes would end up ruling.
And I love how it's in the Bay Area too, in San Francisco, because I recognize like a lot of landmarks.
Yes,
which is pretty cool. And Bart's in there too. So
another thing, I really, really love just the apes. I felt like they had so many different characters among the apes, and they were really distinct.
They weren't just all generic. Like there's different archetypes within the apes.
Right, you had the
community.
You had the apes that just hated the humans, and that you kind of were like, I don't know if I really like this ape either. And then you had apes like Caesar, who was a little bit more complex, who loved the humans, but he also had a distrust for them on some level. And then there was apes like Maurice, who's just completely intrigued by everything that humans do.
He kind of is more motivated on his loyalty to Caesar, but at the same time, he pretty much, if he has a better gauge on whether or not he should trust you.
Yeah, he definitely makes the movie more enjoyable.
Yeah, he's the most likable, one of the most likable characters out of the apes, at least.
Yeah, he's definitely my favorite ape.
And it's weird because at first you see Koba, and you're not sure because like he's like really close to Caesar, and like he owes his life to Caesar because Caesar freed him and started this whole movement. But at first I was like, oh, it seems like he'd be like the type of ape to kind of like turn on Caesar, but then again, but he seems so loyal, and you're like, oh, I don't know if he's gonna do it, and then you kind of see how that unfolds. It's not predictable as you think it would, predictable as you think it would be.
Yeah, definitely not. Also, I think that in both the apes and the humans, there was a lot of depth in the characters, and I think that there was a lot of development within the movie.
Yeah,
with those characters,
definitely,
and not just within their own characters, but the relationships also developed a lot. So
with each other and with the apes.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
they did. I think the acting was pretty great.
Acting was like spot on.
Yeah, nothing to complain
Character
about.
depth was spot on. The script was great. The story was great. The narrative, everything.
I can't think of a single.
The effects were amazing.
It's so good.
The artwork was amazing, and
so
the score was amazing. Michael Giacchino, he was really good.
I can't think of anything I didn't like about this movie.
I seriously
I'm at a loss.
That's why I was like, I have nothing. I don't even know if I have anything to talk about, but we ended up just like raving about it.
Final thoughts.
Definitely go see this, especially if you saw the first one and liked the first one. You're gonna love this one, and even if you were just on the fence about the first one, I think you'll still like this one.
If you haven't seen the first one, watch the first one, and then go see the second one.
Definitely watch the first one. And like I said, I'd recommend the original quintilogy, which is the first 5 back from the 70s.
Great films.
The 2001 one with Tim Burton is it's a standalone movie. It had nothing really to do with the original quintilogy, but definitely recommend the original ones. There, a couple of them are a little dated, but the overall story that develops over the full 5 movie run is really good.
Ratings. I give this movie 10 out of 10, hands down.
Yeah, I give this movie 100 out of 100.
Yeah, there's no way.
So literally, I can't. There's nothing really did wrong.
So the music was, like you said, music. Everything was perfect.
Every aspect of it. And if you find something that you didn't like about it,
let us know.
Let us know, and I'm sure the aesthetics will make up for it, like all the technical things, like effects and sound and stuff.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe down below.
Bye.
Peace.